be giving them the most success so far. I mean, they also have a great win percentage on the Windwalker Destro Paladin. So for the Charlotte Phoenix, lots of different good options available, and it looks like they are going to be going with the Rogue Mage Paladin. So we are getting some Rogue Mage mirrors here to kick off our last series of the day.
Really awesome way to end the day. In North America, we can decide, is Rogue Mage Priest better than Rogue Mage Paladin? Aiden is charging in a straight line at Jamili to get a sap. Are they going to go Paladin? Unitas were playing very aggressive onto the healers. And curious to see what they do here. Wow, that was the fastest one we've ever had. Corley got on the sap now. They're reversing the pressure over onto Aiden. I think attacking the rogues is going to be a big priority here, as they're likely running Gushing Wounds, so they don't have that added versatility that the mages have in their builds. Oxygen sitting through a full blind as he pre-paint suppression, but that's pretty risky, so he decides to trinket a little bit into it, go for a Psychic Scream, reverse the pressure, try and get back onto Jamili here. Polymorph out of the Psychic Scream, good crowd control between CMD and Oxygen. Jamili into the Kidney Shot, DR Dragon's Breath trying to net in just a tiny bit more damage, but they go for the Blessing Protection, stripping off the initial offense of Unitas, and now Charlotte Phoenix counter-engage, double blinding light, Kidney Shot onto Aiden. Aiden trinkets out to respect the crowd control here, but it's endless into a double Ring of Frost. Aiden is being hunted down in game number 1. Polymorph after the Ring of Frost. Beautiful chain. Aiden hovering on such low health, desperately drops the smoke bomb. Silence now onto Oxygen. He must have Vitality Conduit here in a moment. Otherwise, I'm not sure how he's going to pick him up. Powered Shields with the Rapture. Big shields get stripped off for a moment. Another one comes in. Aiden holds on, but it was a close one.
Yeah, I think the next time this happens, I think Aiden is just going to be lights out. If Jamili can connect the Polymorph here, he's going for it. He gets Dragon's Breath. Nice shutdown by CMD there. That was a KO situation right there that CMD shut down, and now he swaps the Sheep to Corley. He gets the counter spell onto Jamili. Full Kidney Shot here onto Nick. Aiden digs in with the Dressed. Beautiful setup there. Gonna force out Nick's Trinket and Cloak and Evasion. Now Aiden, happy with that trade. He's gonna fall back, but the next time Corley pushes in and gets on top of Oxygen, that could just be the game here. They just need to find one stun onto Aiden, one stun onto Oxygen. They get the Dragon's Breath here onto Aiden. Full Kidney to follow it up, potentially by Nick. He gets the Kidney Shot. They get the Sheep. Do they have the damage? Do they have the Hammer of Justice? Corley is in range. He's in position. 10 seconds left on that. He needs to get one more big damn judge, and he's gonna have that back. But it won't be in time. Corley now gets blinded, and now Nick once again here on the back foot. Corley's gonna have to use the bubble. Gets Master Spell into a full Sheep. Nicely done. Nick could just die here, Venruki.
Yeah, he definitely could. He's in a lot of trouble. He drops the smoke bomb. Aiden is all over him right now, but a counter Kidney Shot coming in from Nick. Is there crowd control on Oxygen? There is, and it's going to be lights out. It is Aiden who ultimately falls. It was a nice try, good push on Nick, but Jamili, his crowd control of that game was absolutely on point, just landing polymorph after polymorph, lots of clutch counterspells onto CMD. He did a really fantastic job. There was one moment of the game where he actually locked out CMD, blinked in for a double Dragon's Breath onto Aiden and Oxygen, got a full polymorph into a kidney. It was a really beautiful setup.
Yeah, well done to Charlotte Phoenix on that first game there. Good way to start out the series here against Unitas. Unitas just going down in the end there. Is there anything that they want to do, maybe if they're going to be looking to go into game number 2 here? Like, what really went wrong? What was the big factor there in losing there, Supties?
I feel like maybe going on the mage too long. I feel like the Rogue Mage Priest, Rogue Mage Paladin isn't about killing the mage. I feel like the mages are way too durable. And they targeted Jamili initially, and then it ended up being just rogue into rogue into rogue, and Aiden was already starting from behind. So they prioritized like sapping Jamili and opening on Jamili, and maybe they just spent too much time. I guess you have Master Spell, maybe that's the advantage, so you can go after the mage.
Yeah, you can. If you play Rogue Mage Priest, you can go for the mage.
But I almost think they should have started Pally. They sap Jamili, and then start Pally, get Bubble out of the way. Like, I feel like if you start on Paladin and the mage is out of the game, like, you should be able to get Bubble almost. Certainly, at least trinket something big there. As opposed to, they went to Jamili and I don't think they got anything. So, maybe starting the game differently, depending on how they get the crowd control.
All right, we're going into game 2 here. Yeah, now Unitas is going to be picking their map here soon. Charlotte Phoenix winning that first game pretty quickly in just under 3 minutes, Zico. Is that something, though, that they're going to be able to carry out through the rest of the series? Do you think they're going to be able to close this out in a 3-0, or is this something going to be a little bit more back and forth, maybe go to game 5 here? What do you think?
That game was kind of close, but I feel like Charlotte Phoenix probably has the upper edge here. I think they looked a little bit better there. And also, I think compositionally, it feels like Paladin teams, especially with Ineffable Truth, have the edge in these mirrors. Because best punish for an Ineffable Truth Paladin is to go on him, but I don't think you can actually do that very often in these mirrors. You know, you can find an opportunity maybe in the opener or a swap late on, but you have to have, you know, somebody else that you're kind of targeting that's actually a DPS player. So, I think Charlotte Phoenix are in a pretty commanding position, I would say, in this series, but I don't want to count out Unitas fully yet.
No, I mean, look what happened last series. We counted out Turtle, and then they ended up beating Mystery Orc. So certainly wouldn't count those guys out yet. Unitas looking to tie it up here. Both teams are locked in. We have Tiger's Peak locked in as the map. Do we like this choice here, Venruki from Unitas? Do we think that maybe they've upped their chances just a little bit based on their map pick, or the fact that they have one game under their belt here against Charlotte Phoenix?
Well, I don't think the map pick. I just don't think the map pick is going to matter that much. To be honest with you. Both Corlick and Oxygen are going to be wanting to play aggressive. Corlick's going to be wanting to get the Hammer of Justice onto Oxygen, and at the same time, Oxygen's going to be wanting to land Fears on Corlick. So both these healers are going to be playing aggressive and likely trying to get on top of each other. But for Unitas, I'd like to see them have a little bit more of a clean opener. I do think going after the Paladin could be a potential vulnerability for them in this matchup. So yeah, go after the Paladin, especially with the sap on Jamili. That would have been a great start, but we'll have to see what they decide to go with in this game.
Both teams just waiting for the mages to come out of Invis. Aiden charging in with Sprint. Sap onto Jamili. They are going to open onto Corlick this time around. Oxygen tries to premonition a crowd control on his way in, but not able to hit anything. Trinket's blind into a full stun. This could turn around. They don't get anything from Corlick. They decide to polymorph him instead, but Combustion's already rolling. Oxygen sapped out of the Hodge. Beautiful play by Nick here. Combustion still rolling for Jamili, just having subsided. Massive pressure onto Aiden early on. If they can get a Cloak of Shadows here or an evasion, it could be game over pretty much. He's into another polymorph, fainting on such low health. Vitality Conduit comes in the nick of time. Oxygen stabilizing. Aiden using Desperate Prayer to get a bit of extra health. Swapped over to Aiden as well. Corlick sitting through a blind here. If he doesn't get sapped, I mean, that's going to put them so far behind. He gets to sit comfortably through a full blind. No way he sits comfortably. Oh, he pre-sacrifices the Ring of Frost. That chain is totally shut down. Now, you've got Oxygen with no Trinket. Maybe you could switch to him. Kidney Shot Hodge from this position.
Well, he has pain suppression, so I don't think Oxygen is going to go down. I think what Jamil is doing here is the right play. He goes for the sheep, but Aiden snuck away and got a re-stealth in that situation, so very nicely done here by Aiden. Now he's going to have an opportunity to do a counter setup. He gets a sheep shot, gets to go out on Jamili. That's going to shut down Jamili's counter spell, which means CMD is going to be able to land a sheep. Can he get the read? No, Jamili immediately snipes him on the read with the counter spell. You get a fear here, no counter spell available, so they could potentially get a DR sheep here, but Nick looks completely healthy. Corlick in a triple or a double DR sheep right there, triple DR now finally, and he does get stolen there on his Divine Favor. So the Oxygen now in a Hammer of Justice kidney onto Aiden. Do they get the Ring of Frost? Jamili looks for the sheep. He gets it. Pain suppression. Is it going to be enough? I think Aiden might need to actually use something. If they can extend the chain, he's going to have to use Cloak of Shadows. There it is. Cloak coming out. He still has his Trinket though, so he could potentially still live one go, but I would say Charlotte Phoenix are basically ready to just walk away with this win here soon.
Yeah, Aiden is in a lot of trouble. The smoke bomb drops down. There's a kidney shot. Immediate blessing of protection. Nicely done there by Corlick. But Aiden is just getting absolutely decimated. Big damage there from the Charlotte Phoenix. Will close out game number 2. And Unitas, I mean, they are getting walked over in this series here. Charlotte Phoenix is looking good. And this is a team, I said, I mean, if they bring their A game, I think they're easily a top 4 contender.
Yeah, well played by those guys. Now they're up 2-0, putting themselves here on match point. They only need one more game to win this whole series, the last series of the day. Here's that replay on our screen, Supatees.
Yeah, I mean, this was insane pressure. So Aiden tried to pull off a miracle bomb here. Bomb stuns Nick, but then Corlick just bops it. And then Nick's like, all right, I'm going to bomb you, and I'm not going to stun. Tried to life grip it, but even mid-life grip animation just got eradicated. There is a significant deficit of power between these teams so far in this series.
Yeah, now Unitas really has that pressure on them. Game 1 and 2 were shut down pretty quickly, both around that 2-minute, 30-second mark. Definitely not somewhere any team really wants to be here with their back up against the wall. And they need to pick this next map here and their composition as well. So hopefully we'll get that draft started soon here, but I mean, it doesn't really seem like Unitas has too many options. Map isn't really a factor here, I guess, according to what maybe Ven was saying. I think it was Ven saying last game. So really, what are their options then going into game number 3 for Unitas, Nico?
Well, I think the only thing they can do is swap what their healer plays, right? I think Oxygen can multiclass a little bit, but I think if they go to like a Rogue Mage Pally mirror, it's not gonna look great. Like Korlik is insane on that Pally, and I don't know. I think at this point, they're playing, like a weaker version of the mirror, and I feel like they're also getting a little bit outplayed. I'm gonna be honest. Jimmy has been landing good crowd control. He's been shutting down a lot of these setups, and Nick has been honestly, Nick is in a situation where he can take advantage of Aiden there. So Nick last game doubled Aiden's damage, but in Aiden's defense, it's not really like, what can you do? You kidney bomb the rogue, he gets bopped. Like, okay, you can't do any damage, and he can do damage back to you, right? I think a lot of it comes down to the fact that when you're playing against the Paladin, anytime you're trying to do something, he's just going to answer with a cooldown early on. And then when he doesn't have cooldowns, that's when you're going to win. But on the scoreboard, probably not going to be winning that much. So I think for Unitas, just refocus and try to set up a better opener compared to last game, and try to ride that momentum. If you get a bad opener with Rogue Mage Priest, it's not going to be great to play from behind into the Paladin team.
And the other thing that's worth mentioning as well on the side of Unitas, this team hasn't played, at least in the cups, in this, against either of these regions. This is a team that's made up of previous players that competed in the LATAM and APAC region, and now they're finding themselves play up against some of the best teams that North America has to offer. So do you think that maybe the fact that they don't historically play here against North American teams, at least in the cup, not including, BlizzCon, that there's might be just a little bit of an adjustment period, Ben?
Maybe. I don't know. I wouldn't say so, because Unitas is a team that they've played against. I mean, they play in the North American region. They're playing on the North American ladder all the time. So I wouldn't say that they're like far behind in the meta. I just think it's one of those situations where Charlotte Phoenix, they're a very strong team, and they're playing phenomenal. They're bringing their A game, and unfortunately for Unitas, they seem to just be getting overwhelmed. We'll see what they can come up with in game number 3. These games have been very explosive, so definitely don't count Unitas out. They could come back in this one.
Ooh, Aiden finds Jamili. Are they going to open on Korlik again? They didn't get anything from him last time, but it looks like they're going for it. Kidney shot, pops the wall. They need to try and get Glidier's medallion. Actually, or every man for himself or a Divine Shield. They go for a Psychic Scream. They're not getting it. Korlik should recover here. Now a Hammer of Justice over onto the Priest. Looking for Ring of Frost. Double Dragon's Breath. Perfect shutdown by Jamili. Great control overall. Popping that Combustion. Death from above. Reconnect over to Aiden. Cloak of Shadows trades immediately. I think is more than fair for the Vendetta and Combustion of Charlotte Phoenix. Now CMD trying to control Jamili. Shut him down a bit, but the healer is still locked in a Blinding Light for 1 more second into a 1-second sap. Aiden critically low. Silenced out of it. Cheap shot on it. Beautiful timing. Clean play. Charlotte Phoenix easily outperforming Unitas.
Wow.
Nick MVP?
Nick MVP, the DR sap into the Garrote, and then the edge dress, like he walks away and snipes it, so it just hits one player even though they're stacked. I think that was nice.
I feel like that was one of the better series. That was one of the best series I've seen Jamili play in a long time. He really played that mirror super well. Got to give him credit. The crowd controls were just nailed. The